Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GenCast. We are ranking our top 20 animes today. My father, however, does have 21, but I have 20, and I'm going first.
Well, there's a
And
there's a
I'm
good
going to.
reason. There's a good reason I have 21.
There,
There it
there,
is.
there's a good reason.
There's
Yeah,
a good
I'll give
reason.
it to you because you finished it. You finished it recently, so I get it.
Don't make it sound like I'm cheating or anything. What's wrong with you?
I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna start off with the very first anime I've watched in my entire life, and also still to this day my favorite, Kenshin. S plus.
Rurouni
Easily
Kenshin.
my favorite. It,
Yeah.
it is hands down to this day still the first one I've watched and still my favorite out of all of the ones that I've watched. So I will now turn it over to you, sir.
We need to talk about that for a minute, honestly,
Oh,
because realistically, Rurouni Kenshin, like season 3, it wasn't that great. It wasn't. But
yeah, it kind of drug.
what you're viewing it from is like
Childhood
a
nostalgia.
a 5, 6, 7 year old kid, and then you got home after school, got off the bus. That was the show we literally watched. You just sit in the chair with me and we'd watch it, and it was great.
Right.
And I still love that series. I don't disagree with you.
Memory is correlating with I,
Right.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dispute that in any way. Memory is definitely correlating with how good the show actually is.
And you threw that into what tier?
S plus for me, which is the highest it can be.
So you're just viewing it from rose tinted glasses type view. Because
Effectively, yes.
season 3, I'm sorry, season 3 was not that great. It was all right. It was
I mean,
good,
I remember when you got
but
it for me.
yeah, yeah. That whole series has been played to death over the years.
Yeah, I remember
DVDs
when you
don't
got it for
last
me for my
forever.
birthday when I was like 16.
I'm not even sure if you were 16, but maybe that's possible.
I was in high school. I know that much. I was in
Yeah,
high
yeah,
school because
yeah.
I
That's
came
true.
home and you had it hidden in like the lower cabinet of the bookshelf.
Which,
So I remember getting it.
which,
And I also know that season 1 doesn't fully work because it has been watched so much to where season 1 kind of skips.
mm-hmm.
I do still have the whole season though, by the way. Like the whole series in my room.
Did you steal the series that I bought and put in your room as yours?
It was bought for me, wasn't it? It was my birthday gift. Therefore
Okay.
it's mine.
Well, if you were still in school, it probably wasn't your birthday gift, but still, it's fine. Anyways,
It
I
might
mean,
not have been
I
school
don't
that I
disagree
came
with
home
you.
from.
Kenshin, he's a good character. The series was good. I don't fault you at all for that because I loved it too. That was one of my earlier series to watch because I didn't really get into anime until about 2002, 2003, and then really got more into it after that. 4, 5, 6. That's when I really started getting deeper into it. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think I
get it.
started in like
And
2006.
and realistically, what you're saying is that is the first one that you watch, the first one that you remember, which ties into what I will go ahead and make as my first pick,
Okay, I know exactly what you're about to put.
which will be a Bebop, Cowboy Bebop S
Yeah,
plus, first one I ever watched. It was on Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Like I don't know, it was late at night, 11:30, probably our time when I first saw it, and I really can't remember which episode, but it seems like, from what I'm remembering, it was either Real Folk Blues Part 1 or Part 2. That those two alone are tremendous. They're very good episodes. And that is kind of where I started diving into anime as a whole. Granted, coming from a gamer background, we have a little bit of a proclivity to enjoy or adopt anime as a medium to enjoy Because I mean, just face it, a lot of the like back then, Japanese RPGs, JRPGs were extremely popular. Anime definitely ties into the JRPG scene in many ways. And this was the first one that I saw that was very mature, very poignant, and just very good, honestly. From the storytelling to the animations to the graphics to the music involved in it. And that was literally what pulled me into anime as a whole. Cowboy Bebop. One of those two episodes, Real Folk Blues 1 or 2. I don't remember which episode, but it was definitely one of the two. And I've been a fan ever since, and it is still probably my number one. I haven't found anything that can top it. I found things that can equal it, but nothing that can top it. Because Bebop, it's not as much a story driven series, because I know people have problems with it, but it is a character development or a character expose type situation in many ways. And I still love it. I watch it every few years. There was a time I watched it every year, just, like yearly. That was what I watched. And I just watched it here about 2 months ago. Still love it. My opinion has not changed. That is S plus for me. So with that said, it is now your pick again, sir.
I agree with you almost to Bebop. I've seen it. I honestly don't like it that much, but it wasn't my first, so it's fine. I'm going to switch things up, and I'm going to hit my B tier real quick, which would be roughly your honorable mention. As soon as I find the image that I'm looking for, there it is. The Gray Man. I read the manga for The Gray Man when I was in high school. The manga series was actually fairly good. The anime itself was a complete letdown from the series. Still had its value. It was, I mean, I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm just saying it's mid. It's an overall mid anime with mediocre storytelling.
Right,
But
the
I do
anime,
still really
yeah.
like it because it's early for me.
Because I did watch anime with you, and I was like, it's okay. I didn't feel
The
it was
mangas were
great.
really good.
That's fair because I remember buying them for you.
Yeah, the mangas were really, really good.
Went to Books a
There's
Million.
actually another anime on my list
Yeah,
that you bought the mangas for me for.
went to Books a Million and bought them for you. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
I would just assume
it.
you read as watch, so there's nothing wrong with you reading. It's a positive.
I'd rather read it.
A
I'd
lot.
rather read it. After
I
watching the
mean,
anime, I'd rather read it.
yeah, and that holds true across many mediums. Oftentimes, the books are better than the movies, animes, series, whatever that comes from them because they start to adapt them and kind of cut, chop, etc. for time or impact or whatever. So yeah, I totally do agree that the reading is usually the better format.
It's directly. Oh, you are not grabbing the one that I was thinking you were going to grab.
Full Metal Alchemist and throw it into S. This was the original. This is the very first Full Metal that I watched. I loved
Yeah, I
it.
was expecting you to grab Brotherhood.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. I'm not surprised. But this version, the one that is very hard to find these days, literally, your mama wanted to watch it after we watched Brotherhood in 3 days last week. We looked to see if we could stream it anywhere, and we couldn't. So we pulled out
Yeah,
the
you ended
DVD.
up having to watch your.
Right. We pulled
Yeah.
out the DVDs because you can't find it streaming anywhere. And we're still enjoying it too. It is not as good as Brotherhood, which definitely is S plus.
Yeah, I mean,
All
I'm
the
just going to
but
point out real quick
okay.
that most of the anime that is on my list, and from what I can tell, is on your list, we actually own the physical version of.
Well, yeah. The thing is, so far, we've watched Brotherhood. That was great. That really was great. That's a very good series. But Full Metal Alchemist by itself is still solid. I haven't found any kind of fault with it. It tends to be, or it comes across and feels a little bit more tropey, I guess, a little bit more comedic than Brotherhood did. But Brotherhood is also much darker in where it's going with the story. So I can appreciate both, and I enjoy both. I have
So I'd
now,
probably like Brotherhood then.
yes, you would, yeah, knowing you, you would most likely
I like darker
absolutely.
anime.
It does get very okay. Maybe it's not like extremely dark, but the concepts and everything that goes on is relatively dark and brutal compared to the original version that I watched. Because I watched Full Metal Alchemist probably around 2008, 7, 7, 8. Let's say somewhere between 2007 and 2010. That sounds about right. And I never watched Brotherhood literally until last week, which is kind of why we've held off on doing this because in the back of my mind, didn't know because I knew FMA was on my list for sure. There was no doubt. But then
Yeah,
after
and
watching,
Brotherhood has always been.
yeah, and even like on IMDb or my anime list, Brotherhood is rated higher by basically a full point, let's say. It's close, point 0.7 to 1 point, roughly. And I don't disagree. The thing is, here's what I find awesome about it. From what I'm watching now currently, looking back after watching Brotherhood last week, and then we're working our way through the original FMA now. It takes the same storyline, but it elevates it to just an insane level. I'm serious. Honestly, I have a hard time not putting them both into S plus because Brotherhood is based off of the original. I know it's based off the manga, whatever. But it's just it. They do so much of a better job. It's so much deeper, so much darker, so much more like. I don't want to say globally, although that's close. Nationally important to the story instead of personally important to the story. Brotherhood is great. It really is. And the only reason that I have it behind Bebop is because I saw Bebop first and Bebop resonates with me on a level that I cannot explain. Period. It may just be like that's the first one you watched and you have a certain like deal there, but Brotherhood definitely leaps and bounds jumped ahead of almost everything else I have on this list. And with that being said, I will now let you make your next pick because I evened us up there. So now it's your go, sir.
Okay. On the tail of darker, I actually have a couple on this list that could be considered darker. But I'm going to go with one that I find one of the more dark-ish style animes on my list, and I'm putting it in A tier. I have reasons. It's really, I mean, it's actually really good in a lot of ways. But compared to other stuff on this list, I don't think it's better than some of this other stuff on this list. That's the only reason it's being put where it is. And that's Gunslinger Girl. That is a very dark anime. If you like truly sit down and think about it, it is half human, half robotic, little like 13-year-old chicks that are being forced to kill and do stuff for the government all throughout the series.
Yeah.
Actually, some of them are younger than teenage years. Some of them are like 8 to 10, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I think the one on the cover is actually one of them. Because if I'm not mistaken, within the entire show, Triella is considered one of the eldest, and she's only 13.
Yeah. Trill's like 13, 14. Henrietta's probably like somewhere between
She's got to be like
10 and 12.
somewhere.
I can't remember. It's been a couple years since I've watched it. So like her age is slipping by me here. I don't disagree. But
But
you
hitting
put
dark in that sense
it
is
is
that.
dark. It is dark. And what's weird, here's what's actually weird about it, just to like tie into what you're saying. They're using females. If they used males, it would have been very different, right?
I have an example of that as well.
Not like in this specific
Not,
case.
yeah, like not cyborg type stuff. But I do have an example of a younger male protagonist. Actually, really young from the storyline. He was 9 or 10 when he left.
But see, I feel you're missing my point. In Gunslinger Girl, granted it's in the title, still, would it like, I don't want to say resonate because that's not the right word, affect or be as heavy if they had used males versus females?
No.
I don't think so either. That's where I agree there. Because they used females and they literally turned them into killing machines, yet all of them, for the most part, I think there was one, maybe two, that really weren't empathetic or sympathetic or anything of that sort. I mean, even Henrietta herself, like the hotel scene, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was kind of like her newfound friend in a way. And then, well, she shot her. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of dark stuff in Gunslinger Girl, but it is a very good series. I don't disagree.
Yeah, even the younger male character also in the hotel scene.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, I know who you're talking about,
Yeah.
like the bellboy.
Yeah.
And you put that in
It's
A.
definitely a darker show. I put that in A, just because I know other things on this list are better than that in my mind. Well, it is directly up my alley.
Fair.
Your go, sir.
My go.
Yeah.
So I'll take the same one you just talked about, and I'll put it in A plus. And it's the reason that it does go to A plus for me is more like the Triella arc and the Henrietta
Ooh, yeah.
and the Jose. Those three particularly,
What about Jean?
and John, but not as much. That was more. I don't want to say too much. Just
No,
for
that does
people that,
actually kind of play into the Triella arc.
right.
Because he never realistically
Well,
changed, people just understood him more.
be careful though, because if anybody hasn't seen it
He
and
did
then they do,
change.
but no, you're not listening to what I'm saying. If people haven't seen it, you don't want to give away anything. If you start talking about those topics, well, then you start having like spoiler issues. And I'm trying not to give spoilers per se, but me and you both agree Triella is awesome. She really is.
Favorite
Henrietta is very much like the emotional.
part of the show.
eh, yeah, her and her handler, that relationship, that dynamic is very much like centric to the entire thing. Right? I mean, I really don't see how you could argue with that. Because Henrietta, it was Jose, right? Yes,
Yeah, but I was leaving his name out of it
right.
because
But I mean, he is her
that's
handler.
spoiler.
That's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. He's the handler. I mean, that's like episode one. But their dynamic and the way he treats her and views her versus the way some of the others treat and view their, I don't even know what to call them.
Cyborgs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they are. They're cyborgs. It's what they're called by the handlers that actually don't care about them.
Yeah, but are they 100% okay? It's
Cyborgs? Yes, absolutely.
okay. I'm not
That's
gonna.
what the show's about.
Yeah, I won't argue. I won't. I won't. But they're much deeper than that, though. It's kind of where I'm like stuck on that point specifically. Yeah, that is a very, very good anime, and I know we have watched that. I don't even know how many times in the last
It was
decade.
another one that we used to watch every
Yeah,
year.
we've watched it in the last decade, probably 6 to 10 times. Seriously, it is that good. I feel that it's underrated.
Okay. I have something that a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on, but after watching at least what is out of the show, because I have a feeling they're not done, I have another 8 tier, and that's Jujutsu Kaisen. It's good. It is good. I'm not taking away from its storytelling or any of that. It's just it's realistically not better in terms of character development as any other anime on the remainder of this list. And some of them I'm actually going to put below it, but it's still not better. It's a very mid-tier anime in all honesty. It's not that
I
great.
don't disagree, but I've only watched like 3 episodes. It seems like typical
It,
shonen.
it,
Like seriously,
it feels lazy. The show itself feels very lazy. The entire series from what I've seen, and I know they're not done, so I'm giving a slight leash on it. But from what I've seen, it's not going to evolve much further than what it already is. But I also have certain animes on this list to where the character development and evolution of the anime was also very mediocre. And I'm going to put both of them, because I consider them as one, higher than this. Okay, here is why Jujutsu Kaisen actually or not resignated, but here's why it drew my attention a little bit more. It was animated by the same person that animated Attack on Titan.
fair point. I do understand that. That's why I have a a thing to where like if I see Bones has done something, I will watch it because Studio Bones is good. It's just like IG. IG good. Their animation is top notch. Has nothing to do with the voice actors or the story, but I know that if they're involved, the animation or the quality of whatever the series is should be good. It may not be great, but it
But it
should
should be
right,
good. Right.
right. It should be good. And those are two studios that I put a lot of value in. And honestly, I
Quick little sidebar.
right. Honestly, I probably like Bones just a little bit more, but Studio IG is just they're right there. I have no problems with them at all. And there are others. There's others that I can't think of their names right now, but those are my top two, most likely, because I can't think of anybody that I put
Quick
above them.
little quick little sidebar to kind of actually let's just go with asking you a question on that one then.
Okay.
To ask you a question, because I know my leanings on it. If Greg Ayers is in an anime, do you watch it?
Yes, I can't help it.
Okay, so do I. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just a me thing.
If you want to go that route, if Greg Ayers or Caitlin Glass is in anything, whether I know it or not, that this is the fun thing. Those two people are very prolific. Caitlin
Oh yeah, I
Glass,
can pick out Greg Ayers'
I
voice in
can
like
too.
anything.
His voice is very distinct. Caitlin Glass, she has an ability to where like her voice isn't distinct, but then when you look at the credits and you see like, oh, she's in this. And I have seen both of them in so many things. And
Oh
I
yeah.
I appreciate both of them like a lot. They're probably two of my favorite voice actors and actresses.
Oh yeah.
There's others, yes. I'm not trying to knock anybody, but those two definitely sit at the top of my list as far as like the names that I know and the things that I've
Yeah.
watched that they are in. They all rate highly with me.
I mean, the only reason I brought up Greg Ayers is because I know one of the characters he voices. The anime is in both of our list. And with that said, I will let you go.
Oh, that sounds like you're leading me into a choice here. So that means you're kind of forcing me to pick this one right here, which is Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. That is S plus because the first time that you see this, especially if you're at an age to where you're like out of high school, like early 20s, late teens, early 20s, that strikes a chord that is very real because all of it is realistic. It's sensible. And you can identify and resonate with what it's talking about. Whether it's musically or not is irrelevant.
Right. The character development and the story of the whole
Right.
thing, even excluding music, is still
Exactly.
fantastic.
And I love that. And we have watched that so many times. And honestly, I'll put that ahead if I can. Nope, not that way. There we go. I'll put that ahead. Yeah. I'll put that ahead of Brotherhood. And I argue with myself often as to whether I'd put it ahead of Bebop.
I understand
In
that.
in reality, Bebop and Beck are tied. They're equal. They're
Yeah.
equivalent. They're
Yeah.
very different, but they have a weight and a resonance that I view as equal. Bebop is kind of like I don't even know the words. Honestly, I don't. But here I can
It's
definitely
realistically because it's your first.
yes,
That's really all it
but
is.
I can definitely define how Beck falls. Beck falls to me like Friday Night Lights the series is to me because I can identify because I lived through this. And Beck hits on the same notes except it has music involved. I am not musically inclined. I really wish I was. I'm not. I can kind of play a ukulele, but that's about it. like Friday Night Lights, though, that was it's very funny. Friday Night Lights, the series, was very much like me growing up through school. It was very real. It wasn't fake. It wasn't like done for views. There was something about that show that absolutely resonated with me. And yeah, I'm going back to like real type TV shows, not animated. Fair. So overlook me for that. But they're very close to the same type situation, just in a different genre in a way. I mean, obviously different genre because one we're talking TV series, the other we're talking an animated series. But like the points and the feelings, emotions, the life of the characters is very accurate, appealing, if you will, which is why Beck is also one of my all-time favorites. Because I've said, I don't know if you've heard me, but I know your mama has. If I could watch Beck again for the very first time, I would absolutely love to. Because the very first time I saw it, it definitely hit harder than any time after that. Bebop is the same way. The very first time I saw it hit much harder than any time after that. That's just fact from my viewpoint. Those are my top two. I'm not even going to lie. With everything else that is down here on my list, those are my top two. Period. So that was short and brief, but if people have not seen,
It was definitely not short or brief, but
it was kind of, I didn't expound on Beck or Mongolian Chop's God. That is one, especially if you're somewhere in the range of, let's say, 15 to 24 and you've never seen it, definitely watch it. There's a lot there. In reality, there is a lot there. Seriously. And I'll just stop and I'll let you go with your next one now.
cool. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Beck, S plus. I do remember the first time I watched this, and I agree with everything he just said about it. But I'm not gonna monologue it as much.
But you liked Maho.
It's I did, but it's definitely a very, very, very good anime with really good storytelling, really good character development, and it does resonate with you to a certain point that sometimes you honestly didn't even realize because it did it with me to a point to where I didn't even realize that my mind was at the same spot that the anime was talking about until I watched it.
Right. It
So
has
if
that high school mentality of where you're struggling to find yourself, I think, which is kind of what I was saying about like Friday Night Lights. It's you're living through this and trying to find yourself while being yourself at the same time. It's a little weird with what I said, I know, but they're actually very deep if you stop and think for a second. I mean, they're not like overly deep. Friday Night Lights is very much deeper, granted, because I can remember scenes from that are very deep for like
yeah, I'm gonna just
people.
summarize and cut him off real quick.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Uh, if you are like genuinely towards the end of teens, like he said earlier, between 18 and 20, just watch Beck because it effectively summarizes what almost every teen goes through at that time. It's one of the best,
Yeah,
and I remember watching it for the first time, and I would almost put it above Kenshin if it wasn't for those rose tinted glasses.
but you would agree
With
that like Beck, the
with
first time you watch it definitely hits so
oh
much
yeah,
harder because it feels like reality. It's like I can identify with this scenario or that scenario. Friday Night Lights does the same thing. the TV series. It's the same thing. We actually need to do a TV series thing, I think. But anyway, yeah, Beck, awesome. And you put it in S plus. So I know you agree.
Yes.
Hey, we agree again. Surprisingly, right?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all. The differences come through what we've watched.
Yeah, but I mean, we still both have our personal views, and I've never said don't have your view on anything.
I mean, I've seen Bebop, but Bebop's not even on my list.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We can disagree.
But it also wasn't my first, so it's okay.
Well, I mean, I'll just consider you a failure, but it's fine. I don't mind. You've watched it. That's all I've
I
ever
mean, I don't
asked.
like either of the FMAOs, so it's fine.
FMAO, Full Metal
I don't know why I
Alchemist.
said
What is the
FMA.
O?
My brain went to like Sword Art Online. That's why the
FMAO.
O was added.
What is FMAO?
Yeah,
Is that fear of missing another
I added.
opportunity? I mean, we have that daily.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I added Sword Art Online. That's where the O came from. It was
Ah,
a whoopsie daisy.
oopsie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I will turn it over to you.
Oh, so it's back to me. Back to me.
Yeah,
Let's see. Um hmm. 86.
never seen it.
S. The thing about that show is extremely underrated, I think. I think the people that watch it rate it really highly, and the people that don't really know it just obviously don't. I mean, that's a given, right? But the reason, and I almost want to put it in A plus, but I just can't. I can't allow myself to do that because the story is so good. The sad part about that is it wasn't exactly finished. It was, but it was also kind of rushed. And if I'm not mistaken, the writer got sick, like has some kind of health issue, which is often the case. We know this. Any anime, manga fan knows this. But that series, I mean, honestly, if I sit here and talk myself into it, I could easily put it into S plus because it is that good, and the animation quality in that series is that good, considering that it's about robots and the not necessarily robots, but like mobile armor. Let's go that route because it's not exactly a robot,
That explains a lot.
but there's a lot of depth to that series and like kind of it's not exactly a cast type system, but it's more of like a I can't even think of the word right now, which is annoying. Segregative, because there is segregation in a way for sure, but the story is absolutely great. The animation is absolutely great because I remember when I first watched it, like this animation is extremely high quality. And I can't tell you right now which studio did that. It may not even be one of my top two, but they did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. Because the scenes that I remember are insane. Like realistically, they are insane. The story is superb. I really want to throw that into S plus, honestly, but I won't allow it because I think from everything that I have read that it's not exactly complete the way it was intended to be. It may be. I could be wrong. That is fine. But it is still ridiculously good. I would advise anybody to watch it. You included. You should definitely watch it. If you've never watched all of 86, you should watch it. If you don't
I've
enjoy
never
it,
seen any of it.
I would honestly be surprised because it is really that good. If I was
How
to
heavily does it rely on the big steppy robot things? Because that
not,
is something I just don't care about.
it's not big stompy robots. It's not. It's very much a character and class type depiction of
Hmm.
war. And yeah, I'm not, I don't want to ruin anything, but it's definitely something to watch. And on that aside, because there's one on here that I don't have, I'll just wait. Never mind. I'll be quiet. So yeah, 86, watch it. It's great. And I really, really do want to throw it up into S plus, but I don't feel that it has everything that it was intended to have anime wise, even though it's still extremely good. So with that, it is back to you there, buddy.
So everyone remembers the whole like superhero whatever you have. Like there's always like one really overpowered character in almost everything. And it's really hard to write a story around one really OP character for the most part, except for this anime right here. One Punch Man. He can destroy everything in one punch, right? Like that's the whole point of it. But the story of such an overpowered character is so magnificent. People have tried multiple times. I have seen almost every single show written about Superman. They're all garbage. I hate Superman actually. He is my least favorite character ever created. One Punch Man is effectively Superman, but with a good story. And you don't have to sit there and rely on the fact that the super strong character that is ridiculously OP for the story that he's in type thing. I mean, the show's called One Punch Man, but the storytelling is fantastic in this show. And there's a lot of comedic relief in this show as well. Actually, I don't. It doesn't even belong in S. I don't know why I put it there. S plus. It's hands down like my current day favorite anime ever written. It is so good. I love the storytelling. I like what Saitama can do. He's like undersold in intelligence, but he broke all of the physical attributes of the test. Like it's one of those type ordeals. And if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend watching it. It is one of the best storytelling animes that I can recommend. Don't go to it for action. You're not going to get much because, again, the show is called One Punch Man. You're not going to get much action in it. But the storytelling is phenomenal.
And I haven't watched it, so I'm going to ask this question. And I may sound completely stupid for asking this question, but One Punch Man, okay? Let's take what you're talking about and let's say this is my view based off of what you said. So tell me if I'm right or wrong. This would be like My Hero Academia plus Fist of the North Star combined. Does that sound anywhere near accurate? I'm asking a
Not
question
really.
legitimately. No. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
No,
honestly, not
I was
really. No.
seriously questioning. I mean, I've seen like a
No,
couple
it is really close to
episodes,
Fist of the North Star, though.
so it's
It is
closer.
actually really close to Fist of the North Star.
Okay, so it's closer to that than it is.
My Hero Academia,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. So it would be. I don't know if you've watched Mashley or Mashal, depending on how people say it. I'll stick with Mashley of Might and Magic, or Mashley. What, I can't remember the other part, but he's like kind of under. Well, okay. Anyway, never mind. I'll stop because I'm diverting too much there.
Let's just go if he's effectively Superman, but the storytelling actually matters. To where Kal-El's background, Superman's alternative name, by the way, his actual name.
Yes, I know.
Uh, I wasn't talking to you.
I know. Just saying. Yes, I know.
Uh,
Yes, most people
to
probably
to
know.
to where nobody realistically cares about Superman's background. They at least made you care about Saitama's background because the storytelling was better. He's not some alien that just came to Earth and was OP because of gravitational force and blah 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 blah. He was a normal human that actually worked at it and became OP.
I got you.
I mean, that's a very bland way to word it, but that's effectively what it is.
So I mean, what you're saying is like he's kind of like Rocky Balboa. He's kind of like,
Right. He's got like the upcoming story.
yeah, okay.
He didn't just land on Earth and be OP because of that. He was a normal person with zero powers whatsoever and just trained himself to death to where he was ridiculously strong.
So what's his weakness?
As far as the show has gone, because there's only 2 seasons, he doesn't actually have one.
Yeah, that is OP.
Yeah,
Huh, okay. Maybe I need to watch that because I've never watched it. I've
it's really
literally
good.
seen like one, maybe
Highly
two
recommended.
episodes.
Highly recommended. So good. If you care about story, it's really good. If you care about action, I just wouldn't waste my time
I'm
because there's really
more,
not that much.
yeah, I'm more story character driven than I am action.
I mean, there's action, but like the things that you would consider to be like big action moments in that scene end up just being the character that he talked to previously. Their head just basically lands in front of the other character. Like the big bad's head just lands in front of the character they talked to previously after he said he'll deal with it. That's effectively all you get in action.
Yeah,
It's not action oriented. The storytelling is amazing though. His
gotcha.
character growth is
Yeah, character
the
growth.
story.
Yeah, character growth is definitely a positive. You don't want to see them
Yeah,
stagnant. You want to see them like grow and evolve. It's a very important thing. And
it's a whole ordeal.
to that point, I mean, I'll go back to Bebop because a lot of those characters, in a way, do grow and evolve, and in a way, they don't because they are very much who they are.
Right. Well, am I allowed to say names or name spoilers?
Just be careful.
Like Jet and Bebop.
Yeah,
Not Jet.
yeah. Spike.
Jet's the name, uh,
I don't.
not the main character, the dude with the robo arm.
Jet.
Okay, I was right then. So Jet and Bebop is effectively one of the characters. I'm not going to say his actual name because that is a slight spoiler in this show. But Jet and Bebop is kind of like one of the characters in One Punch Man. He is a like android type thing. Well, cyborg, let's go with, because he does still have human parts. He's not full animatomic, but he's a cyborg type thing. But he views Saitama as his trainer because even though Saitama is a lower level hero, like he's considered a like low level hero, he's actually he's the strongest character in the whole show, which I guess does kind of correlate with My Hero Academia in a bit,
Yeah,
in a
that's
way,
kind of what I was getting at.
to where they have like levels and stuff. So yeah, it does kind of correlate. But somebody that's like a higher tier hero, like the cyborg android character in One Punch Man,
Yeah.
He's effectively going, "Hey, yo, I might be S tier, and this dude might be D tier, but I know for a fact he's stronger than me, so I'm gonna follow him around and call him master and learn from him,
Yeah,
even though I rank higher than him in terms of the grading scale."
sounds fair.
It's such a good show. I absolutely love that show, actually.
I can tell. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. So
Yeah, your turn, your turn, your
are
turn.
you done on One Punch Man now?
Yeah, I'm done fanboying over One Punch Man, your turn.
Okay, yeah. Don't be a fanboy too much anyway. I mean, it's fine to an extent. Um I'm trying to balance things a little bit. Let's go with Steins Gate. And I'm going to put it in A.
Oh, that's an interesting choice.
I'm very torn as to where to put Steins Gate because I understand that there are many series that are in the same universe that all tie together, like Robotics Notes, which I find to be a good series. And I could
Forgot about that series.
possibly put Steins Gate into a B, but I think Steins Gate alone is definitely A. It may rank a little higher. I don't think so looking at everything else that I have, but
Yeah, I mean, I own one.
Steins Gate is very good. Well, I mean, I own Steins
I
Gate, I own
yeah,
Robotics Notes, and you own what are they?
I forget what it's called.
What is
I forget
it?
what it's called.
Oh, what is it? Oh, that's annoying. But they're all in the same universe. They're just like a point something differential on the world that is the whole universe. I don't know if that made sense because I know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know if I said it. Is it? Oh, you got like two of them, maybe three. Is it chaotic notes? Is that right, or something of that sort?
That's it.
I hear a lot of noise, but I didn't hear you talk.
Yeah, chaotic notes. That's it.
Yeah, they're like in the same universe, but they are like different versions of the same world. And there's another Steins Gate type thing. I mean, I know it's Steins Gate. I know it's Robotics Notes or Robotic Notes. And there's another one that is just escaping me at the moment because I think I own several of them. I don't know all of them, to be fair.
Yeah, I tried to find the one
Yeah,
that I had.
I
That's
thought
what
I
the
heard
noise was.
you. I thought I heard you digging around back there trying to look. And Steins Gate is really
Yeah,
good. And now that I'm
it would have been
sitting
on my anime list. I did see it.
and now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I really should have put Spice and Wolf on here. Because Spice and Wolf is very good, but that's
Mm.
very different. That's a
Mm-hmm.
very different thing. But it just came to mind, so I thought I'd mention it. Spice and Wolf is
Ice and Wolf
actually
was actually really
very,
good. Yeah.
very good. So yeah, Steins Gate, and I know it's got a whole lot of like VN stuff and manga stuff, and it's a very like prolific um IP
Yeah.
from whether it be anime, games, novels, light novels, whatever. But Steins Gate is really
Yeah.
good.
Sensei's got a lot.
And I'm a sci-fi nerd. I mean, I admit that freely.
Wait, no. Yeah.
Just look at my list
I know
already.
all too well.
It is actually fairly sci-fi heavy, and that's just I can't help that. It is what it is. And the only
Most of mine
reason
tie into magic.
and the only reason I put Steins Gate into A is because there's so much more to it that expands on it that I don't think I could rate like one series.
Yeah, you're
higher.
talking like Steins Gate as like a whole, like the
Right.
entire universe of
Right.
Steins
So
Gate, right?
I really, I mean, and there could be an argument to where I could put it in a B tier, but realistically, Steins Gate alone is good enough that I think it needs A tier. Robotics Notes also A tier,
Chaos Head.
but I didn't.
Chaos Head. That's what
Chaos
it's
Head,
called.
yeah, that's another one. Yeah, they're all like the same universe, the same thing, just different worlds or something like that. Because I've read a lot on it because it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Chaos
I'll
Head or Chaos Child. I forget which
yeah,
one it is, but I own
and
both of them.
yeah, and there's another that we don't own right now because we haven't got it yet. And I think there's another Steins Gate that we actually don't own, or at least another like in that kind of timeline.
Steins Gate Zero? Is that the
May
one that we don't have?
yeah, zero theta, something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, it's something like that that we don't have. And yes,
I'm
I
going
actually literally own most of these in DVD or Blu-ray format. The only one out of my list specifically that I do not own is FMA Brotherhood and 86. I'm not going to talk about the other things I haven't put up yet because I don't own very many of those because they've all been streamed, but I do own some. But we're
Jujutsu Kaisen and One Punch Man are the only things in
okay.
my list that neither one of us own.
I'll just go ahead and name them. I do own Evangelion. I own the premium version of Evangelion from like the
I know
early
that.
2000s, late 90s. I do own parts of Attack on Titan. I don't have all of them yet. I will get them eventually.
True. I've
I,
seen all
I,
of Attack on Titan.
I,
Have you?
no, I haven't finished it yet. I've been
Oh,
waiting. So you're ahead of me. You
I've
suck. Shut
finished
up.
it. So
Shut
yeah,
up. Shut up. Don't talk.
I'm not gonna say anything. When I put it on my list, I'm not gonna speak about the later episodes
And like the original
or seasons.
the original Trigun, yes, I own it. Fate Stay Night, yes, I
The new
own it.
one. Wait,
And
is
with
Fate Stay Night on your list?
yeah,
Oh,
it
it
is.
is.
It is.
Okay,
And with
cool.
that, it is now your go once again.
I'm actually gonna defer.
What?
I give up my time. Back to you.
Hmm.
My next two, I'm putting in the same thing.
Okay. Well, if you're going to defer, that really makes a problem for me.
I mean, I can do both of them now, and you can do two later.
Why don't you do that? Actually, hang on.
Okay.
I'll go one, and then you can
Okay.
go one. How about we do that?
So the same way it's been going.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, FMA was the only one that I did two at once. I'm going to go Attack on Titan, and I'm going to throw that
Okay.
in S. Granted, I have not finished it. I need to watch season 4 and the movies that followed that, or movie. I can't remember
Oh,
if it was one or two.
I haven't seen the
And
movie.
uh,
I've only seen this show, like
and
all the way through.
Attack on Titan is great for multiple reasons. One, it's gruesome. It's gritty. For two, three, it really hit mainstream and it kind of exploded the popularity of anime because it's not,
Oh yeah.
which granted, before I even say what I was about to, anime in general is not childish. It's not kiddie. It's, for the most part, these are not things you would want your 8 to 10-year-old kid to see. These are
Correct.
things that you would want your 14+ year old kid to see.
Right. I can expound upon that in a little bit if you want me to.
No, go ahead, but I'll stop because I'm going to
Okay.
say Attack on Titan as S because
I'll do it now.
it was just hold up, let me finish, and then you can go.
Okay.
It was very formative for, and it literally Attack on Titan pulled a lot of people into the anime scene. I've been watching anime since like
Absolutely.
2002, like
I
a
consider
lot.
Attack on Titan the turning point.
I
Because
mean,
I've been watching since 2005, and I think Attack on Titan was effectively the turning point to the popularity.
and SAO before it kind of gained traction, but it didn't
SAO
gain.
helped,
It
yeah.
did, yeah. It didn't gain the traction that Attack on Titan did, and I think that's because Attack on Titan was so gruesome and so visceral and so real, personal, like not to the viewer per se, but just from a character standpoint, that it made people stop and watch. That's my view on
Right.
that, which is why I put it at S. When I finish the series, which I still haven't done, I'm sad about it. I need to do it.
I haven't watched it in a bit. I'll watch it
I
with you.
I may want to move it up to S plus because it's just like Full Metal Alchemist. I didn't know about Brotherhood. I knew everybody said it was better than the original, but I didn't know that for a fact from my viewpoint.
Until you watched it.
Yeah, but I'll even go
Yeah.
further. Like even on IMDb, they're literally about a point or a point two different in rating. I want to say FMA is like 8.3 ish. I think actually I do think it's 8.3, and Brotherhood is like 9.1.
I mean, Fate Stay Zero was that for me. I
So
didn't see Fate Stay Zero until like far after Fate Stay Night, so I get that. Yeah.
yeah, and I haven't even seen Zero. I really want to get caught up and watch all of the Fate Stay stuff because that is a tremendous series. And
Oh yeah.
like, what's the word?
Maple.
Let's just go with series. Let's just leave it a series. World. It's fine. We'll just
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Never mind.
we'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there because it's still on my list. I haven't thrown that one up here yet. But like Fate Stay
I haven't
Night,
either.
yes, Fate Stay Night, I'll do next. I'll just do it next. But
Okay.
Attack on Titan, yes, it is S. It is possibly S plus. It is something I think most people above the age of 14 should watch because there's a lot there. It's very much like 86, which is why I have them in the same spot. And I'll go ahead and risk it because I don't know because I haven't seen the ending and I'm very sad about it, but I will try. There we go.
Okay.
I'll put Attack on Titan ahead of 86, even though it actually kind of pains me, but I haven't finished Attack on Titan, so I'm going to take for granted what I think is going to happen.
How heavily do you rate my list on that then?
I'll put it
Because
this
I
way.
know exactly where I would put it.
I'll put it this way. In reality, I would say Attack on Titan and 86 are equivalent. They're equal.
Okay.
And if we want to get
Because on my list, I know where Attack on Titan is
if
going
we
on
want
my
to get
list.
100% honest, I'll put the original FMA behind both of them. I really have an
I'm
issue trying to figure out 86 versus Attack on Titan because yeah, that they're both
I'm going.
actually very heavy. So now I said Attack on Titan. I will let you go. It is now
Okay.
your turn.
Before I actually go, I'm going to expound upon a few things, just real quick. So he brought up earlier that anime everybody thinks is roughly childish. There is a massive difference between an anime I would show to my kid versus an anime that I would show to an older
Like
person.
a teen or
Right.
tween and above. Yeah.
So Attack on Titan's not one of them.
No,
Dragon Ball Z is one of them.
exactly. You showed
Dragon
me.
Ball is one
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Pokemon is one of them.
Yes.
There's different. Also, he made this mistake earlier. this is a slip up on his end.
What did it?
It's not what he
What?
actually believes. It's a slip up on his end. It's not what he actually believes.
What did I
He made
do?
the mistake. He made the mistake of calling anime a genre. Anime is not a genre.
Kind of
There are
is.
genres within anime. Anime is a style. A TV
Mm,
show is a style that
okay.
has multiple genres. Anime is a style that has multiple genres.
I I
It's
don't
not different.
I don't argue because in reality, what you're saying is anime legitimately was based out of Japan, and cartoons are animated, which is effectively based out of the US. We got our
Yeah,
cartoons like that type of cartoon. I'm not talking about like Disney, Mickey Mouse, all that, Looney Tunes, but we got our cartoons, let's say Transformers, etc., from Japanese anime. So yeah, I don't
yes.
disagree
And
with you.
if
I
you
know what
want
you're
it
saying.
pronounced, if you want it
Anime.
pronounced
If you say
100%
anime, I'm
correctly,
going to
it's
go straight.
anime.
No,
That's what it is technically
I don't.
called
I
in the
don't.
Japanese translation. It is technically pronounced anime. I think I mean I it doesn't sound right for me. I'm gonna call it anime,
It doesn't
but
matter.
technically it's called anime.
It doesn't
It's just
matter.
like manga versus manga.
Exactly.
It's no different.
It's not. It's the same. We're not talking about
And
manhwa
unless you say
or
Raymond,
manhwa.
unless you say Raymond versus ramen, then those are
That
fighting
is
words. It's
very
called
different because
ramen.
it's ramen. Ramen is a person. Ramen is a noodle. Just saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
those are different, but
It's crazy.
it's there are differences in anime. I'm not going to show a kid certain things on my list, but I would show somebody who's between the ages of like 15 and my age a lot of things on my list,
Yeah, most things on my
assuming their
list, I
maturity
would not
level can.
show. Most things on my list, I would not show to a kid. Like seriously, I would not.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Because they're not kid shows, and a
They're
lot of
not.
people approach anime as a kid thing. It's
But,
not.
but, but to
I have
to
examples actually
to be fair,
within Disney
exactly, cartoons were made for adults.
are
They
not for
weren't
kids.
made for kids.
My pick. Let's go. Okay, my pick is actually it's a two in one.
Okay.
Baki and Baki Hanma.
Okay. Fair.
Both of them S tier. They correlate heavily because Baki Hanma continues the story of Baki.
That's fair.
Why Netflix decided to separate the two and make two different anime, I have no clue. They should have all just been thrown under one. I don't know why they separated them. I kind of wanted it all to just be in one when I watched it, and I wanted it all to be in one for this list because now I have to pull two into one for list purposes.
And you've been wanting me to watch that for like 2 years now.
Oh yeah, even mom, because I had mom watch it with me.
Yeah, and
I've
she
seen it
loved it.
multiple times.
She even told me.
Yeah, I've
Both of
seen.
you have told me I should watch it, and I
Yeah,
haven't yet.
I know it's fairly martial arts heavy, which isn't quite your thing as
It
much,
actually is though, if you stop and think. Martial arts is
but it's
yeah, it's one of my things.
also. I mean, Cowboy Bebop has a lot of martial arts with the
I'm
main
no,
character
no,
talking
no, no,
about
no. I mean,
be like
just like
water and stuff like that. I
no,
mean,
no, no,
it's
no.
fairly martial artsy.
But like seriously, just go to the movies that I've watched, like Fearless and Hero and uh, Ong Bak and all the like Chinese martial arts movies that came out back in the mid 2000s. So yeah, martial arts
So
is not
this
like a
anime,
thing that I don't watch. It's just I don't really watch as much of them on the anime side of things.
I'm gonna summarize without spoilers to the best of my abilities because I know that my co-host here has never seen it. So this anime has two things, to keep it brief, that I absolutely love. One, amazing action scenes with martial arts elements, and there's your typical run of the mill badass who actually isn't who you think it is. 2, it has amazing storytelling and character development. It pulls every aspect of anime outside of the dark. Well, it has semi-dark aspects, but not as much as the others I've watched. It pulls almost everything about anime that I love into one show. Well, 2 shows because Netflix is stupid, but one show. Technically, one show. And it does it really, really well. The storytelling is amazing. The character development is amazing. You get the action scenes you want. You get the suspense you want. It's just overall, hands down, to this day, really doesn't belong in S tier. I would almost put it above Kenshin. One of my favorite animes I have ever watched, which is high praise from someone who boycotts everything Netflix has ever created,
Same.
for the most part. Outside of Stranger Things, this is the only Netflix original I have ever watched and actually liked.
But
I boycott almost everything Netflix done.
here's the thing. They're not actually Netflix originals.
True, because there are
They
multiple things on Netflix that I have
yeah,
watched outside of Netflix that Netflix
exactly.
then bought out.
They just throw
Cobra
that
Kai is
on
one of them.
there. I can think of 2
Cobra
anime off
Kai
the
was
top of my
created.
head.
Oh, I can think of something outside of anime. Cobra Kai was created actually through YouTube stuff. Cobra Kai used to be a premium thing, like a YouTube premium, YouTube TV type ordeal. Then Netflix bought it out and it became a Netflix original, but it never originated on Netflix.
Which if you
Season
stop
1 was completely done and made outside of Netflix, and then they bought it.
which if you stop and think about it, that's a little weird, right? Because then Google is competing with Netflix, which doesn't seem like something Google would want to do. Why would they do that? I don't know. Different conversation. Moving on. All right. My go. I'm going to take one that I don't think you've seen, and it is Violet Evergarden, the series and the movies. Amazing. S. S. That is that that series has so much in it. So much. From like look at it from this point of view. It is a female heroine, okay? From she was an orphan. She went through like war era type stuff. And then she went to effectively be a secretary type person in a way. And everything revolves around those 3 points. That shocked me. That series is amazing. I really, you know, the more I think about it, actually that should be S plus because it shocked me at just how good it is. Seriously, seriously good series. I would advise anybody to watch it. I mean, from like probably 12 plus. I would say, yeah, watch it. Yeah, there's some gore, but it's not like gratuitous, so to speak. But there's some stuff. Yeah, I get it. But the story and the character, like her specifically, is simply put amazing. Absolutely loved it. Me and your mother have watched all of it, all the series, all the movies. They are all good. There is one movie that is slightly lesser than, but in general, that is peak anime. And I feel that it is underrated because you don't hear very much about it. More people should
Yeah, I've
watch it.
never seen it.
It is solid. And I have no shame in saying that. So just to keep it a little more brief, I'll stop. And it is now back to you.
My go, and I'm gonna kind of hit you with something
Okay.
that we've both watched together, actually.
Okay.
And I'm very curious as to your thought process on this placement.
Okay.
Claymore.
Oh,
It's in B.
Um,
It is a very, very, very good show. I actually do like the show a lot. I also like the character development within the show. Without spoiling it, because I know you know why. But I'm gonna give like a slight little bit to it. She effectively didn't care, and then she did. Let's just go with that.
hmm But I
It's a
think that
great show,
that also ties into her teacher.
right? It's a really good show with really good character development and stuff.
And honestly, I will fault you slightly for putting that in B because I it almost made my list, but I definitely limited myself. And in reality, because I was trying to keep it at 20 or 20 effectively.
Yeah,
Claymore, honestly, my view from what I have read of the manga and what I have watched
I've
from the
not.
anime, yeah, I've done both.
Yeah,
It
I've only
it
seen the anime.
it is probably A plus from my view
Ah,
because
well, I know our list is different.
it is really good, and
Like our breakdowns.
that's on my list to watch with your mama too. Mango. I should be better prepared, but this is actually a lot harder than people realize. People that have done it understand. People that haven't probably don't because it's actually hard. Um, hmm. Also, my ability to see things clearly has diminished and it makes me feel bad.
I do like that both of us less actually we left them off in both versions. Did you notice that?
What's that?
In the movie list we left out stuff like Spirited Away, House Moving Castle. Like we left stuff
No,
like that out.
yeah, but
And in the anime list we've
see,
also left them out.
yeah, that was intentional because we're talking about series, not movies. We can do like an animated movie list if you want, but it's gonna be dominated mostly by Miyazaki
Studio
stuff.
Ghibli.
Yeah, mostly by Miyazaki stuff. I mean, there's a few others I would definitely throw in there, and
I mean, yeah, I've
I
just
could
noticed that in both.
I could probably do a top 10 on like animated movies, unless we start throwing Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks into the mix.
Nah,
And then
nah, they don't count.
I may have to go to 20. But if we're talking strictly like anime movies, I could do a top 10,
Yeah,
I think. Pretty
I
sure.
just found it weird that we left like a lot of those out of the movie list and we're leaving them out of the anime list as
It
well.
was kind of intentional to leave them out of the movie list on my part.
I mean, same on mine. That's the only reason I brought it up.
And that's the same reason I don't have them in this list either. Because if you want me to just state my thoughts, anything that is Miyazaki, watch it. Period. End of discussion. That's it. Also, if you want some more, I can throw out a few right quick. Like Her Name. Yeah, watch that. 5 centimeters per second. Yep, watch that. Um, Wolf Children. Watch that. Yep. Um, what's the other one? Suzume. Yes, absolutely. Watch that one. The Girl That Leapt Through Time. Yep, watch that one. See, I have a 10.
My neighbor Toto,
My Neighbor
Spirited Away.
Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro, I didn't care as much about, but like Kiki's Delivery Service, I think is
It's a good beginner.
better. Yeah, yeah.
Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, all
Miyazaki's
really good beginner
yes,
things.
Miyazaki stuff is definitely gateway drugs here. So to get back on
Effectively, yes.
topic into anime series, which is what we're actually doing, I'm going to
And
throw
your turn.
Razafon, which I don't think you've watched, and I'll put it in A. I
I have not.
kind of want to throw it into A plus, but I'll not do that. but it's very good. It's also robo mech. It's also about building a better world, but it is also on the downside. It's where you're relying on one person's viewpoint to build the world as it should be, which I don't agree with. But that's kind of the gist of the series. But it's still a good series, and I like it a lot because I really, I really put it close to Neon Genesis Evangelion, but not exactly the same. And in all reality, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see because I got NGE right here. It's right there, and I'll do it next. But I don't know if that is an A or an A plus, and I'll give my reasons when we get to that point. So, with that being said, I will turn it back over to you.
Blue Exorcist, S tier.
Hmm.
There are some filler seasons. I'll throw that out there. There are definitely some filler seasons to where nothing really happens, kind of like Inuyasha.
I was gonna say, is it Inuyasha level filler? Because I mean, Inuyasha, like
It's
watch
pretty
one through
bad.
four, and then skip to like what seven, eight,
Act
nine, or
one,
eight, nine, 10, whatever it
yeah,
is.
like
It's
just skip to the end.
ridiculous.
But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's like a couple of episodes, maybe a season or so.
Which I mean, kind of on that point is why Inuyasha is not on my list because it had so much filler that I view it poorly in that regard. Because Inuyasha is good, it really is, but there are so many filler seasons.
Yeah, Blue Exorcist, there's not that much filler, but it does have a little bit of filler, but it's still a very good overarching story.
Evangelion. Let me go ahead and throw it up there. A plus. I would put it higher, but it is so confusing at the end, and with the remakes also in my mind. Like 1.01, 2.2, or 1.11, 2.22, 3.33, etc., etc. Although I think it's what 3.03 and 1.01 or 1.11, something like that. That was ridiculously good. The very last remake was extraordinary. But Evangelion, it's always been top to me. I don't know if I would rate it higher, more because it's kind of confusing. Like what or if it's trying to say anything or convey anything, but I still enjoy it. And it is definitely influential. You can't even deny that fact. Nobody can deny that fact. Evangelion has a massive influence on anime as a whole, just like Bebop does, just like Attack on Titan does.
Fate Stay Night, S plus. There's there's a lot to unpack there that I'm actually not going to get into because I can't talk about this show without hitting a bunch of spoilers.
I still want to watch like all of them because that world, I guess, world building premise is very good. And I honestly, I don't disagree. Fate Stay Night is peak. But where did you put that?
S plus.
S plus. I don't
I would actually
disagree
take it
that.
a step further and put it above Beck
I
because, as you said
I
earlier,
get it. I get it. I get it.
it's one of my earlier animes. It's actually the anime that I watched right after anything Kenshin related, including Samurai X. So it's technically the second ever anime I've ever watched.
I get it.
Just like Unlimited Blade Works. Actually, Unlimited Blade Works I watched before Fate Stay Night, but that's a movie,
Really?
not a
Did
series.
you? I thought you watched the series first.
Yes. No, I watched the movie
I
first.
thought we watched the
I watched the movie at
series.
the old house.
How did you not watch the series?
You didn't let me watch the series until we moved over here. I didn't watch the I watched the movie before we were over here. So
Oh,
it would have been like
okay.
2007, maybe or like late 2006, but I think it was roughly 2007
Okay. Okay.
when I watched Unlimited Blade Works. And then Fate Stay Night I watched roughly 2009, 2010-ish. It's so good. I'm not gonna touch on it because I honestly can't talk about that anime at all without dropping
Yeah,
spoilers
there's
left and
really
right.
not much you can talk about there. I agree. Because you start giving away too much. And everybody, for the most part, that has any kind of inkling on anime or gaming, actually, to be fair, especially like mobile gotcha esque, just from phones. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Fate Stay Grand
Grand
Prix, is
Order,
that what it was
Grand
called?
Order,
Grand
Grand Order.
Order, that's it. Was a
Yeah,
whole mobile game, yeah.
yeah. And that universe is really, really good. I don't disagree. And you put that at an S plus.
Yes.
Don't disagree.
I would also like to request time.
Is it my go? I'm going to take the same thing and I'm going to throw it at S plus. Fate Stay Night S plus. That's the first one of that series I watched. I don't know if it was the first one of that series per se, like overall, because I haven't
Fate
watched
Stay Zero
what I.
was the first.
Yeah, but I think that was more of a prequel that came after Fate Stay Night.
Right.
I
It was
think was the
okay.
first
It,
anime.
in terms of release, I don't know, but Zero was the prequel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Fate Stay Night was the original, and then everything came after. And I don't disagree with you. Fate Stay Night is amazing. I love it, and I haven't watched it in a while, and I need to watch it again because I do enjoy it, and it's been a minute. So yeah,
I'm down.
I don't argue. S plus 100%.
Actually, we could watch Zero
And
together if you want to.
I need to watch Zero. I need to watch all of them, whatever I have access to, without actually having to buy a disc to watch them.
Sayuki A plus or
Sayuki
Sayokai.
Sayuki A plus.
It, I honestly don't have much to say on this. It's been a hot minute since I've seen it. I do think it's actually good overall. Did like the story of it, and it definitely had a lot of comedic release within the entire show itself.
You said A plus, right?
Right. It's been so
Uh,
long since I've seen it that I can't deep dive like too heavily on this anime itself.
I don't argue too much. Sayuki's good. I would say A, like if it was me. So I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Gurren Lagann.
I've seen parts of it, but I've never actually like really watched it.
S plus. Yeah, S plus. Right behind Violet Evergarden. They're actually tied, so don't take the placement there as like a thing. I'm thinking between that and Brotherhood. Uh, I would actually say Evergarden, Gurren Lagann, and Brotherhood are effectively tied in the same spot because they're very different, and I rate them all very highly.
Let's hit up a show that me and you actually watched together. One that I'm not 100% surprised that it's not on your list because it is relatively forgetful once you've seen so many. But I do find it hilarious, and it also hits fantasy, which is one of the things that I really like. Majuko Tensei, Jobless Reincarnate.
Okay, where are you putting it?
It, A. It's going in A. It's the lowest I can put it. But it definitely has its moments. And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a new season that me and you haven't watched together yet.
We haven't finished season 2, actually.
I wasn't aware that we started season 2.
Yeah, we started it.
I have it in A. I mean, it was funny. It was definitely funny. I mean, little bro's a pervert,
Yeah,
but
yeah, kind of. I mean, like, okay, there's not even a kind of. Yeah, he's definitely a pervert.
he's
There's no doubt.
little bro's a pervert.
But
But he's also like a young protagonist that's
that's the weird.
ridiculously strong, effectively, and it just it all blends together very very well.
I will take the same one you're talking about because it's on my list too. Um,
Oh, word.
yeah, because it is that good. It really is good.
I do see it on your list actually. Now that I'm looking at it, right beside Death Note.
I
Yeah.
I don't know if this is one upping you, but I will put it in A plus because the genre that it's in and the sentiment and basis that it has is very different from most other things in the isekai type genre because there's a lot there and I actually do like it and we need to finish season 2. I've been waiting on you because I looked at it the other day. I'm like, I really want to finish that, really want to finish it, but I'm waiting on you so we can watch it together. It's the only reason I haven't. We should have finished it dang near a year ago at this point, 6, 8, 9 months ago, because I'm sure season 3 is right around the corner. But there's nothing else I would compare to what it is doing currently that I have watched other than Inuyasha, except newer and male and a little bit more forward speaking in what it's saying. But it is a very good series, and I don't disagree. That is a very good series, and I like it because it's got a lot of depth and it has a lot to it. Because it's very weird that in a way you're taking like a 30-something-year-old pervert and you're transplanting him into a baby, and then he grows up in this other world with abilities that other people don't have.
Right, it's like SAO, but without getting put
Yeah,
in a
it,
game.
it pulls a lot of things. Actually, it's not just Sao. I mean, I know what you're getting at there. It's not just that.
Well, I couldn't think of the other one.
No, it's fine because there's many. Like I said, Inuyasha, like Yu Yu Hakusho, like there's a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna go with something that I'm 99.9% sure you have not watched. Black Clover. I'm putting it in S tier.
I think I've watched a couple episodes with you, but I haven't watched it. And I know you
I
like it.
have
I know you rate it pretty high. So where you said S tier, not S plus.
yes, S tier, which is just below my S plus. Mom has seen a few episodes with me because we started it again together. I have seen the whole thing by myself a couple of times, but I did start it with mom.
Right.
I it I'm to avoid spoilers. It it basically does what every other anime does effectively to where it tells the story of a powerless person, kind of like One Punch Man, that just strives to be We're gonna say one of the best, but realistically, it's better. Actually, let's just call it better. A powerless person that strives to be better in the world to where everybody having magical powers is common. And he ends up having an ability that is extremely rare. And it's a
Okay.
very dark story. And it's also got its magic elements, obviously. And it's also got a story of kinship behind it because his brother has something as well to avoid giving too much. It's extremely, extremely good on all levels,
Well, yeah.
and it's actually fairly new.
If I can, get you out of your room, we can watch that.
I've seen it multiple times, so feel
Which
free to
which
watch
which
it without me if
means,
need be.
I mean, I can. It's a little bit more fun though when we watch things together, so we can talk about them as we go. Although you have a bad habit of like spoiling things. So are you done?
I am. It is your turn now.
It is my turn now. The original Trigun. Huh. Uh, S tier. Above the original Full Metal. Yeah. And behind 86. Yep. Trigun's awesome. It's amazing. Even the new version is really good. I didn't add it onto here just to like limit myself. Trigun, definitely one of my top 10. Definitely. It scratches all the itches. It's like Cowboy Bebop, Beck, Violet. What I can't Gurren Lagann, Brotherhood, Fate, and 86. It's kind of all of those in a way, one extent or another. Maybe not as much Fate. And depending on how you look at it, not Brotherhood. I guess you could argue on Gurren Lagann, but in a way that's valid, that it's a relative point. But the original Trigun, really good. The new Trigun, also really good. So, I mean, just to throw it out there, if I had the new Trigun, if I said original Trigun a while ago, sorry, the new Trigun, one that came out like a year or two ago, I would put it, ooh, I don't know.
I'd put it in like A plus personally.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
It told the same story, but from a very, very, very different light.
It was different. It was different enough that I don't know where I'd put the new one in relation to the original.
Actually, the new one was more of a prologue. It was more
Not,
of a before they are where they are, in a way. Like
yes,
the first couple of episodes were like they were a lot younger in the
yes and
first couple of
no.
episodes than
Yes
they
and
are
no.
where the original
Right.
starts.
Yes and no. So I would probably put them basically equal because the new one is actually very good and I enjoyed it immensely. And
Oh yeah, the
it
new
would
one
be
was
it
amazing.
would
I
be
actually really liked it.
it's very hard for me to put one over the other, but just because I would put the original over the new one, just because, like, honestly, I mean, I can't even like give details because I don't want to give anything away for anybody that hadn't watched it or anything like that. That's actually a hard one. I do really like the original Trigun, and I don't exactly know where I'd put the new one because I have seen a couple things to where there will be a season two. I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like it won't because the remake kind of encapsulates the original in one season instead of two. If they did more, it may get higher, but just as an aside, I would put the remake at probably A plus because it feels complete yet not complete. Like I know there's still more, and they may have accomplished everything they set out to do. That's perfectly fair, and I'd like them both. I really do. If you look at it from a one season perspective, the remake is really, really, really good, and that's the one I would say you watch. And then if you want more, to where it's just a more typical old school anime, watch the original because there's a lot of changes. There are changes. I mean, they're not like extreme changes or anything like that, but it accelerates the timeline and kind of changes the scenario a little bit. I almost want to say background of Vash, but not really. It seems to shift the focus. Let's put it that way. The new one shifts the focus from the original, and I'll leave that there. Yeah, and I'll hand it back off to you there.
I'm gonna match you, and I'm gonna throw Trigun as mine as well. I'm gonna throw it an A plus. I don't need to expand upon because you've already done all the points. There's no difference between mine and your point.
You're
So
talk, you're
just
ta-
immediately back to you.
so you talked about the original, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
original, not
All
the
right.
new one.
I just wanted to make sure because I'm not like looking. All right. So back to me. Death Note. Ah. This. Mm, all right. This will probably be controversial. I'm going to put it in A because honestly, in some ways, in many ways, I feel like the live action was actually better than the anime, which is weird. I know because I don't like the live action anime or the live action version of an anime in general. Something about it just I don't know, and I can't put my finger on it. And I've tried, thought about it, but the anime, it's good. It really is good. It's important. It's formative for anime as a genre itself, and it's still popular today. What, like 15, almost 20 years later? But it feels a little odd watching the anime because the way it does, like it skips, or it seems like it skips, or it glosses over maybe some points that should have been brought up and they weren't. But I still really enjoy it, and we know that it's important. It's one of those anime. You know what I mean? It definitely falls into that category to where this is a upper level production value storytelling. All of it is higher level than just basic.
Cause they no stigma.
I knew that was
A
coming. I
tier.
was waiting. Oh, you put in an A? Okay. I was waiting because I knew that would be on your list without even looking or talking. And I was just wondering where it would
Yeah,
fall at.
no, it's on my list. It's good. It it checks pretty much all of my boxes. It's just not as good as other things on my list. Hence why it's A.
It's a fun romp. It is. It's a good show. I'm going to take the original Gundam. I'll put it in S.
I've seen the entire series. I've never been upset. There was never been filler. It's great from start to finish. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
You said Attack on Titan, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's what I thought you said. Just making sure. Yamato. S. Space Battleship Yamato. And this was the 2199 version. So I think that's effectively the remake of the original. That was really good.
Assassination Classroom. S tier.
S, not S plus.
Right. S.
That's still one I have to watch. I keep looking at it and I almost start it, but then we watch something else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to like describe this show without spoiling anything, and it's damn near impossible.
Fair enough. Cyberpunk, Edge Runners. That is S plus.
Have you seen that?
Yes, we binged that 2 days.
Oh, I remember y'all watching that.
There's supposedly going to be another season, and I'm torn on that. I hope it is, and I kind of don't care if it is because the way it was done and the way it ended stands on its own. There's literally no reason to do another season.
Tengen Ashura.
Hmm?
Do you like martial arts?
What did you say? I didn't quite hear that.
Tengen Ashura.
I've never seen that. I don't even know what that is.
It is a legitimate Netflix original that was recommended to me after finishing all of Baki and Baki Hanma that I immediately fell in love with.
Vinland Saga, right behind Edge Runners. They're kind of tied.
I'm about to be even all the way across the board. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A.
Hmm.
I have read the mangas. In fact, you bought me the mangas.
Yeah, I did.
Not all of them. You
Not all
actually
of
only
them.
bought me part one, two, and three.
Right. Not all of them.
But I did read a few of the mangas. I'm not even going to say a decent amount because it's not a decent amount because just how long the show has gone. It's not a decent amount of the mangas. The only problem with JoJo is the like manga wise and just outside looking in wise in a way. The main character changes so often. It's actually not the same guy the whole way through.
Oh,
It's different characters with roughly the same name the whole way through the entire show. It is a very good show, and I actually still haven't finished it. But from what little bit I have seen, it deserves A.
and I haven't watched it. It's one of those that's still on my list, but I haven't for whatever reason.
I think I've seen season one and two, and that is pretty much it.
But it's also pretty
So with
long.
that,
It's pretty long running, right? Don't have
it is
like
pretty long. Yes.
a lot of manga episodes, manga novels, chapter whatever.
Yes. Yes, it does have a lot of like actually there are a lot of manga books specifically for it. So yeah, yeah. It's fairly long running. It might be the new like One Piece or Bleach
Is it
or
new?
Fairy
I
Tail.
thought JoJo had been around for a while.
I mean, I'm saying new relative to the examples I gave, not new in terms of actually new.
Hmm,
It's newer than One Piece and Bleach, obviously.
I got you.
But yeah, it's I do think it's really good, and it is definitely worth a watch or a read, regardless of which one you want to do. Both are actually really good.
Which one's better?
From what I've read and from what I've seen, the mangas are better.
Not surprising. Okay. That's the answer I expected, honestly.
Yeah, I've never finished either, but the mangas are better from what I've read.
Fair enough.
There are actually multiple lines in the manga that kind of help the story along that aren't even in the series. Like they drive home stuff that the series doesn't touch on
That's not
at all.
surprising. Not surprising at all. And that is Frieren. And where would I put Frieren?
I've
Huh.
never seen for
You're missing out. Ah. I'm writing this based on right now, 2025, before the next season comes out. I have no problem putting that tied effectively for number one. We all have our own opinions, our own views, and that's perfectly fine. I'm open to listen to what you got to say. So if you do have something to say, leave it in the comments. If you like what we did, give us a like. If you want to hear more, subscribe.
This was the GenCast. Thank you for your patience and joining us on our journey. Season 2 will be coming soon, to where we hit more hard-hitting topics and we talk about everything that we agree/disagree on that could be going on in current world events. We appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, we will talk to y'all later.